I was a Colts fan because I watched Peyton Manning at Tennessee when I was in high school, coming home from basketball tournaments. And I had the fortunate accident of saying, whoever drafts him, that's who I'm going to root for. He gets drafted by the Colts. I get into sports talk radio. Everybody hates the Colts because of what happened back in 1983.
Cheers, everybody. Welcome back to Beer With, where every week we sit down and have a beer with someone that has an amazing story to tell. And today, as always, I am joined by my buddy Nick Moore from your Baltimore Ravens and my broadcasting hero, Mr. Jeremy Conn, co-host of the Big Bad Morning Show every morning, 6 to 10 on 105.7. And he also has some pretty good concrete locks of the week, too. Throws our way.
Appreciate that. Thanks,
Nick,
man.
close your ears on that one, brother.
Not with all the stuff that's going on now, especially in baseball. Woo.
Yeah. Jeremy, thanks for jumping on with us this week, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad I can make this work, especially with what I have coming up.
Yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm having throat surgery. It's a sleep apnea surgery. I have like 10% affects people with sleep apnea where my throat closes from side to side. So it's as pleasant as it sounds. They're going to shave down the inside of my throat, remove my tonsils, and kind of reconstructure my neck and face a little bit. So yeah, I could come out like looking like Sloth from Goonies and maybe even talking like him. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, no.
But the recovery's a bitch.
Are you going to get on the air and be like, hey, you guys, I'm back?
Well, my PD already ruined it because I told him in secrecy, like the first time I was allowed to call in and I could talk, I was just going to talk in a really high-pitched voice and pretend like that's what was going on with me for the whole interview. And at the end say, all right, I'll see you next week, guys. And then just kind of hang up. And he told him about it. And I'm like, you just ruined the bit, you know? So I don't know what I'll do. We'll see.
Is that a specific thing for the type of apnea that you have? Have you been wearing a CPAP or?
Yeah, I tried the CPAP and I ripped that damn thing off every night. The way I've explained it to some people is I haven't slept more than 3 consecutive hours since November. And I know it's aged me about 20 years and I'm always tired. And I'll randomly, like if you're at the barber and they're cutting your hair and you close your eyes for like 3 seconds, I may doze off, you know? So, it's just, I want to get this fixed and feel what it's like to have, like an 8-hour night sleep for once in a long time.
Yeah, I know how that is. I wear CPAP too. My dad was similar to you, 15, 20 years ago before CPAP was kind of a thing. And he had that same issue. He used to teach, in-school suspension. And he got asked to change his teaching because he got caught like asleep in the class, and all the kids were, doing whatever they were doing. And but he had the same issue for almost my entire childhood, and he's been wearing it for about 20, 25 years, and I've been wearing mine since 2016. But it took almost 3 full years before I could wear it all night, and now I can't sleep without it. I wear it every day.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if I kept at it over and over and over again that it would have worked for me. But when they went in, I did all the sleep studies. I did the at-home one where you got the thing on your chest like Iron Man, and every time it pops out of your nose, it starts beeping. I went in there and got hooked up to 100 electrodes, and they watched me sleep. And then the last one I went in, they knocked me out, and they monitored me. And then that's when they saw my throat was closing from side to side, and it was something that they feel like this is really going to help, but it's going to be the worst sore throat I have of my life for like 2 to 3 weeks.
I got to go get the testing done because my wife's been telling me that it's been getting worse and worse for me because I've been mouth breathing at night in the same way. Like I could sleep for 8 or 9 hours and wake up and still be dead tired. So
yeah, I
know I'm going to be right behind you guys.
Yeah, that CPAP, man, it's a game changer. I actually had this conversation with Harbs the other day. I swear by it. I think everybody should, go get tested if you got apnea, especially like bigger guys. Guys with like, I got a big neck, and then obviously the heavier you are, the more susceptible you are. It's just something that it's vital for my sleep. I can't even take a nap without having it on. And now I can wear that for 6 hours at night and feel like I slept 10 hours. And, it's just something that I it's a game changer.
I'm jealous.
For me, so
I'm jealous.
I swear, but I got 2. I have one I take with us on the road. I bought, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and then I have my like fancy one that I leave at my house because it's kind of a pain in the butt to pack it up and take it for one night's sleep and all that stuff. But yeah, a lot of guys have them.
Well, I'm going to be right behind you, so I'm not looking forward to that. But I'm glad you're working it out. And Jeremy, certainly, man, good luck
Thanks,
next
man.
week, right?
Yeah, good luck for that.
Yeah, Monday, August 4th.
We'll be thinking and praying for you, man. I know it's
Thanks.
It's a tough road. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's an all liquid diet for 2 to 3 weeks too, so that'll be fun.
That's tough. That is hard.
Can you have Slurpees? I'm all about the Slurpees.
Yeah, so the one thing they said is kind of stay away from citrus because that'll burn. They do give you a liquid like pain medication to start with, but eventually you got to switch back to the pills, and it's just a matter of how much. Like you can start eating like pasta and like mashed potatoes and things like that at some point. But I've talked to some people where it's like, hey, just eat a ton of ice cream. And even then they said they don't like the way the ice cream makes their throat feel. So we're going to find out. There's a Rita's by my house, and I'll probably be best friends with them. So.
Hell yeah. I used to see you around the Ritas in Perry Hall occasionally.
Oh, man, that was my thing. It was Rita's every Sunday night and then go watch Game of Thrones every Sunday night.
That's a good tradition right there.
Yeah.
That's banging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the next season of House of Dragons coming out?
I think next year, right? I'm trying to match up everything because you got Peacemaker, you've got The Boys, the last season coming up. You've got a ton of stuff. It's just so good.
Yeah, man, we can be best friends. I love all the shows you're dropping right there.
Yeah.
Those are all good ones, yeah.
Well, one of the things I want to talk about with both of you, obviously yesterday, at the time of the recording, it's the 29th. Yesterday, July 28th, was the 5th anniversary for Mo Gaba. It was Mo Gaba Day. Jeremy, what you did for him and his family and are continuing to do for the family is so touching to not just all of Maryland, but all around the world. I mean, seriously, like you were so instrumental in getting his story out there. And Nick, you had a relationship with Mo kind of towards the end 5 years ago. So I wanted to talk to you guys and just see, your relationship with Mo and just how much he touched both of your lives.
I don't know if you want me to start it off, but like, yeah, man, it's kind of weird. If you go back to the first time he called into our station, it was this kid that just had so much life and his laugh was infectious. And I'm like, man, who is this kid? And then come to find out, he was battling cancer and he was blind and we had no idea. He was blind basically since birth. That's how they actually found his brain tumor was in pictures they took. His eyes, instead of showing up red, they would show up white. And so they knew something was off and then did these tests. But he started calling the show regularly, and then he sent in a message in Braille, and he transcribed it, asking us to come out to his school, and then we developed this friendship. So, gave him my radio show, which I was telling you guys pre-show that it's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. We had everybody you could possibly imagine on that show, and we didn't book a single guest. And like, I'm talking, Roman Reigns was calling in, Buck Showalter, Harbaugh called in, and he said to Harbaugh, he goes, Tennessee was more prepared than you were. And I'm sitting there just like clutching my pearls, like, I can't believe you just said that to the head coach. And then at the end of the night, Ray Lewis calls in and prays with him on the air. And it's like, it's a lot of cool things to see how happy he was and how much he enjoyed that. And we tried to pack in a lot in those last 5 months. I had Stone Cold Steve Austin calling him every Sunday. I basically used every favor that I could ask because I never asked for favors. So a lot of people came through for me, so it was nice.
I remember. So, I mean, I've been a listener for forever. I mean, obviously, since you went back to, the Scott and Jeremy show. And when he first started calling in, I was kind of like, who's this kid that's calling into the show? And it was cute, though, because you're listening to people call in and bitch about sport, trying to get everyone fired, And then there's this sweet kid that's just calling in who's full of life. And it didn't matter, like, how bad of a day you were having. He would just brighten your day because you would realize that as bad as you have it, here is this kid who is full of life and just, is electric through the radio. And then you almost feel like a jerk, like, oh my gosh, who am I? What are my problems compared to this kid who's just like a ray of sunshine?
I'm sure Nick can speak to it. Like it draws you in. Like he has this personality that's so outgoing. Like I remember being at his house playing video games with him and the screams he would let out. And people are like, how is he playing video games? He would listen to it on YouTube and figure out where everything was by someone talking about the and he would remember all of it. It was insane. So, I mean, he just draws you in because he's such a beautiful soul.
He really was. And, you know, I only had a few months with him. I joined the team in March of 2020, but I can still remember the first time he came out to practice, and Harbs was telling us about him. And obviously he had a special connection with Lamar and, you know, and with Coach Harbaugh. And the way he talked about him was just like, kind of like you said, Jeremy, just such a ray of sunshine. Just no matter what was happening, like we're in the middle of training camp, it's hot, it's COVID, there's all these rules, there's all this stuff going on. And here you got a guy who's got infinitely more things going on top of the stuff that we're dealing with. And he's just out there smiling, happy, laughing, joking with everybody, watching every play, cheering, you know, with the guys. And it was just so much fun to have him out there, and for him to be a part of the short time I was able to be with him was just so unique and so special. And I know he meant a great deal to Coach Harbaugh and all the guys on the team that knew him. And, you know, we still do the Mo paint in the end zone in Baltimore. And I think that's a tradition that, you know, it's never going to die, because he had you know, Mr. Bisciotti had a soft spot for him. Eric DaCosta, everybody in the entire organization, top to bottom, all loved Mo. And he was just such a class act and such a genuinely nice kid. And, you know, and despite everything that he was going through, to be able to bring that joy and that happiness and that light to other people, man, it's just something special. And it's a guy that, you know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to meet that kid. And so I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah, the other thing that somebody had pointed out, so July 2nd is the anniversary of the show, and the Orioles had Mo Gaba Day, ironically. I don't know if they knew at the time or if they just wanted to honor him on the anniversary of his death. So it's been 5 years. The Orioles are undefeated on Mo Gaba Day. They're 5-0, which is ridiculous, including that Trey Mancini inside the park home run. And Trey was his buddy on the Orioles going through cancer as well. But someone had pointed out to me something that I forgot. When we started the Big Mo show, he wanted to do a moment of silence for a friend that just passed from cancer. And I was saying it's so weird. Like, you give somebody something that you know that they want. Like, if you really wanted a car, you wanted this big Corvette or whatever, cherry red that you wanted your whole life. And as soon as you get it, your first thing is, well, why don't you take it for a test drive first and let me know what you think of it. And that's kind of how I felt what Mo was doing that night. Just so selfless. And again, like, you know, having the bobbleheads around that still have his laugh in it is something you hit it and you can't help but smile when you hear it.
Are you going to hold it up for us, Duke? 'Cause I know you got it there.
Yeah, I'd have to hit it a couple times to get back to the laugh. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had all these things like make every day a win. And he said, I wake up and I just try to be positive and achieve something every day. And like, I don't know, sometimes you look at some of those things and you may say, that's kind of corny, but like there is something to being positive and trying to make sure you don't let little things wreck your day. And it's something I truly believe in. So I try to do that now as well.
And I'll say this, too. His story is going to live on just through having the Mo in the Ravens field, because I was at the Steelers playoff game this past year, and I was surrounded by Steelers fans up where I was sitting. And one of the Steelers fans were like, what's the deal with it saying Mo in the end zone? And I was right there, and I was like, here, let me tell you. And so, I mean, just through that, I'm sure that happens probably every Ravens game for an out-of-town visitor, and that story is just going to keep getting passed on.
Yeah, we got the street named after him downtown, too. There's Mo Gaba Way right there on West Street. And along with the talking bobbleheads and all the other things, it's just kind of cool to see how much he meant to this city. And, you know, we'll keep having all these things come up and keeping his name alive. I know Anne Arundel County does Mo Gaba Day on his birthday in January. So we kind of have 3 times that we tend to remember him and make sure everybody's talking about him. But on YouTube, Gift of Gaba, Gaba, that's the 14.5-minute piece that NFL Network did that won 3 sports Emmys.
Yep, I remember that. I watched that. I mean, I think all of Baltimore watched it when it aired that night.
It was right around Thanksgiving, so it was kind of like perfect. You know, like everybody was home. You're thinking about COVID and everything else, like just being around your family, and you watch this feel-good story about this kid who, and even the way it's the ending of it, it's just beautiful, because you could have turned this into a negative, but the night he passed, I mean, I literally got Mo Strong tattooed on my arm that night, but I went there with the family, and it was kind of strange because when we walked outside, the sky was orange and purple, his two favorite colors for his favorite teams. And I know it sounds kind of corny to some, but like you're going, I've never seen the sky look like this. So yeah, it kind of gives you goosebumps sometimes thinking about it.
Yeah, well, his story's going to live on for sure. And Nick, thanks for sharing about everything going on in the locker room with that man.
Yeah, he's a special man.
Well, dude, you're full into training camp right now. How's that rolling?
It's going well. 6 practices in. It's always fun to get back. You get the fans in there. We had pads on yesterday for the first time. Just ramps everything up. It's starting to feel like football season. Getting ready to rock. Got a game in like a week, I think, a week and 1 day. So joint practice next week with the Colts. So it's coming quick, and we're excited. We got a lot to be excited about, and practice has been going really well, and it's gonna be a lot of fun this year.
Is it different this year with the kicking competition going on?
It is, yeah. It's much different. It's haven't played with Tuck for 5 years. It's a totally different change up. I kind of got here when we had a bunch of veterans in the specialist room and with Morgan and Sam and Justin, and then I took over from Morgan. I had Sam and Justin, and then Jordan came in, and it was Justin, and we were like that for a couple years, and now I'm kind of the old guy trying to. I haven't played that much. I've played like almost 60 games, but Jordan and I are about the same, and we're working through it together. We've been doing really well this so far in training camp. I've been very impressed with both John and Tyler, and the competition is fierce, man. They've both been on it. So it's been a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to work and get better, and everybody can improve every day, and we'll see kind of how things shake out. But right now, this is the most heated battle I've ever been in with special teams, which I haven't been in, other than the one I was in when I was a rookie in New Orleans. But I haven't really, there hasn't been much competition here the last couple of years. So this is it's fun.
That's cool. Do you build relationships with everyone there, even the guys that might not be staying around?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because it's hard, and training camp is a very difficult time, especially for young guys that, I was undrafted. I got cut from my first team, so I know, how that is to go through that, kind of being the outsider, the new guy coming into the team, and you don't really know anybody, and the other guys have all their friends and stuff like that, and it's hard. It's a very challenging for someone to come into a place. And so me being, I think I'm the third or fourth oldest guy on the team, and I've been around for 6 years now. I have a really good feel for how we operate and kind of the things to, look out for, I guess, if you will, with the young guys. And so I just try to be there as a voice of reason. I mean, I deal with a lot of the guys that are on the bubble because of special teams. Like, Malachi plays special teams, and some of the higher draft picks, they're doing the special teams, but they have, bigger roles per se on offense or defense. And it's the undrafted guys or the late round draft pick dudes that I actually work with them because they're basically fighting to make the team on special teams. Like Malachi's going to probably end up playing a decent amount on defense, but he'll also have a role on special teams. But it's the guys that are the undrafted dudes that coming out of a small school or something like that are fighting for survival in the NFL by making a special teams unit. And those are the guys that I interact with the most and just try to share as much wisdom as I can. Cause I've been very blessed. Baltimore, we're very, we take special teams very seriously, obviously with Harbaugh being a special teams coach.
Yeah, right.
But we take pride in it. Like we've been so good on special teams for so long, especially with the specialist unit that, there's tremendous tradition and success in Baltimore. And it's something that we take a lot of pride in. And I was able to learn from some of the old school vets like Anthony Levine and Morgan and Sam and Justin and these guys, Chris Board, these guys that played, for 10 years on special teams in Baltimore and made a living by doing that. And now that, Levine's back around as a special teams coach, but we have like our special teams. We got a bunch of young guys, a bunch of young players. So I'm the old guy around, so I try to give as much wisdom as I can and try to remind them, like, we talk all the time about play like a Raven. Well, playing like a Raven is being badass on special teams. That's just what we've done for 18 years with Coach Harbaugh here. And he takes a ton of pride in it. All the coaches, top down, even the offensive, defensive coaches, they all help out on special teams. And it's a big deal for us in Baltimore. So I try to share the wisdom with all the young guys, and just to remind even the second, third year guys, like, hey, it's your turn to step up. Like, we lost 4 starters on special teams last year. Somebody's got to fill those roles. Like, we need young guys, second and third year guys have to be the leaders. They gotta learn how to be mature, learn how to take control of the game, and basically show these young guys how to do it and set the tone, because special teams is a crucial part of the NFL, and it's a crucial part of our team success. I mean, we're offensively and defensively, we're unbelievable. And, last year we didn't have so much success on special teams as we would have liked. And so, and I kind of feel like it hurt us. And later on in the season, we lost a couple games because of missed kicks and, bad plays on special teams. And we don't want to be the reason that we holding our team back. Kind of like last year, I kind of felt like we maybe put our team in a bad position going into the playoffs by, losing some of those games. And so, we're just trying to do everything we can in our power to give our team the best chance to succeed, and especially as the season cracks on. And we got a big task. I mean, we got probably the best special teams division in the league, with a lot of coaches been around for 20 years. With the guys in Baltimore or in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they've been there forever. Danny and Darren, they've been over 20 years in both those spots. So, every year it's a battle in our division, and sometimes, a lot of the time, special teams is what separates the wins from the losses. Yeah. And so we got some work we got to get done, but I'm really happy with our young guys, our second, third year players really stepping up this year and being those leaders and really kind of setting the tone for our team.
Actually, so you brought up a good point that I want to ask Jeremy about. So you were saying last year you guys had some struggles offensively with your kicking unit, right? And there was a lot of people that were just calling into your show. I mean, demanding people being fired. Like, people just jump off the bridge, dude. Well, but for you, I mean, that's got to be good for ratings, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, negative stuff. We always say when it comes to a Ravens season, back when there were 16 games, it's like go 12-4, lose 2 games you weren't supposed to, and everything is perfect in radio world. But yeah, I mean, look, people love to stir up controversy. They make up stuff. They argue about things. We have recency bias, so whatever's happening right now, it's always going to happen. It gets frustrating. And then when you're looking at special teams, like, everybody knows what the issue is, and it's like the Orioles aren't hitting. Well, fire the hitting coach. It's like, what is that what's going to happen? I mean, this is typically what we go through because there's a pecking order of who they're going to get rid of and how things have to go. But yeah, man, we have a lot of geniuses on the couch, and I include myself in that. But some people make up their opinions, and it doesn't even matter if you throw facts at them, because their opinion is what it's going to be.
So what's it like having a relationship with the athletes and the players when they're knowing, like, you guys can be friends or whatever, but then when these stories come up that you have to report on it and give your straightforward opinion? And I mean, is your relationship better with the players after they're retired?
Yeah. I mean, because look, there's got to be a trust thing too. And then when you get into the media now, there's so many different outlets. Like, you don't know what's real. We actually have AI now. We have all these things where there's cameras everywhere. So no matter what you're doing, you're going to end up being judged by your worst moment ever, and i.e. with Ray Rice. And I think I was probably closer to him at that point in time than anybody I'd been with in radio as far as an active athlete. And, when you see that and you got to talk about it, it's not an easy thing to do. So I just always try to be like, my whole thing is I'll be critical, and hopefully you understand I'm being critical, and I try not to make it personal. Sometimes I'll go over the top to try to make it funny, but I hope people realize some of the sarcasm in it. Like when I make fun of Mansolino saying put some points on the board instead of runs.
Points. Dude,
it drives people insane, but I think
baseball.
it's hilarious that he does it. So But yeah, look, it's another fun aspect of the job, but it can drive you nuts when you're going and arguing over and over and over about the same stuff.
Nick, what's it like for you guys in the locker room when this kind of stuff happens?
I mean, we know everybody has a job to do. Like, as long as, in my opinion, obviously I don't get as I don't get as much criticism as a lot of other players, just because I don't play as much, so there's less to talk about as long as I do my job. But
Yip one into the end zone, buddy. We'll talk about you.
Yeah,
we're not doing that. We are not doing
that Giants long snapper years ago. They couldn't stop talking about him. Remember the one in the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, if you're not doing good, my thing has always been, as long as you're telling the truth, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Like, you're not going to say anything about me that I don't already say to myself or know. Like, if I'm not playing good, it's not like I'm oblivious to the fact that I'm not playing good. I don't love to hear it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's saying exactly what I would say. I mean, I would come on air and be like, yeah, I'm not playing well. I'm not doing enough. I'm not helping out. And I said that last year, with Tuck. There was a couple times where I didn't do my job right and he helped me out. And that's just the nature of our job. So, obviously I don't know how, him or Lamar or these guys, the guys that get all of the heat, but it also comes with the territory. Like, Lamar's he makes $55 million a year. He's I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He gets all the praise, but there's a flip side to the coin. You've got to deal with all the heat when it comes. And, that's just the nature of the position and sports. I mean, that's just the reality of our job. Like, we know that. I think having a relationship with the media is something that is crucial because, I don't get a lot of airtime when nobody's asking for Nick Moore at the podium after practice or post-game interview, nobody's like, Nick Moore, we need to talk. Like, that never happens. So when I get an opportunity to talk to somebody, I take a lot of pride. Like, I want to present my best self, but also I want to be real, like be who I am and be realistic with whatever we're talking about and be honest about what's going on. And
so it's funny what you're saying, because like when I have an athlete on the show, like my two co-hosts will ask a question and it'll get to me, and then I'll ask something that's just kind of out of pocket, off the wall, like see if I can't get you to chuckle or something. And then a lot of times, sometimes guys will loosen their guard, realizing like, I'm not out to get you. I just, we want everybody to see who you are, because sometimes it really is difficult for athletes to get across like kind of who they are. Some guys are a little bit more reserved and they don't want to be vocal, and some guys are stars just waiting to shine.
Yeah, I mean, you always have to be guarded with things that you say, especially nowadays, like you said. I mean, in 30 seconds, you could be a national disaster or you could be a national hero, depending on, what you do and what you say, because everything gets put out so quickly. So you always got to be cognizant of what's being said, but you always want to present like an authentic version of who you are. And that's something I try to do. Like I said, I don't get a ton of time, but when I do, I try to be forthright and honest about everything that's going on. And I think it's useful for a guy like me who doesn't get a lot of airtime. So when I do get the opportunity, it's a great time for me to kind of show everybody who I am, to kind of let them into who Nick Moore is. I do a lot of stuff with my family. I like to include everyone, because we're all, like, my family, we are part of this. Like, I'm the figurehead of the unit, but like my wife does more, during the season than I do. I just play football. She's got to take care of the kids and the house and the dogs and make sure if we got guests coming in town. So I try to give them as much limelight as possible. And it's something that it takes a lot of time, because like you said, a lot of guys are reserved. A lot of guys don't like to let people in. They want to just focus on ball. But my view is it's part of the job. So as much as we talk about, much as guys don't like it, it's a part of our job. So you use it to your benefit and, allow people to get to know you, and then it could set you up. You could have a good relationship, me and you, and then I go on the show and we talk, and because I know a lot of baseball stuff.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, hearing what your story was, we'd love to have you on, talk both things, baseball and football.
it's like a unique thing because like not a lot of people would know like my backstory. I mean, there's been a few articles, but like, how many people are really diving in to read about the long snapper, So unless I'm doing bad, like everyone's looking me up then. But typically, if I'm doing my job, I go under the radar and I skate through. And then like this year, we went to Isaiah Likely had his softball tournament, and
Yeah, you're going to end up playing slow pitch softball with us, man.
and like everyone,
Kickball.
it's like everybody was surprised that I was good at hitting the softball, and I was like they asked me, I won the home run derby. They asked me like post game, and I was kind of joking because all the guys were there, but I was also, they asked if I was, if I expected to win. I was like, well, I played 5 years professional baseball. I played 20 years of baseball. I sure hope I won. Like I was going to win, That was kind of my
How funny
expectation.
is it when these world-class athletes, like I remember some of the guys watching them swing a baseball bat and I was going, yeah, that's not it. I mean, you are an amazing football player, but put that thing down.
It is a different sport. Like baseball requires a totally different skill set, and football is a very linear sport. So even though there's a lot of change of direction and cutting, your body's kind of moving together as one. Like when you cut, your whole body cuts. Very rarely are you like, unless you're doing like a wide receiver, they do like a quick like juke cut or whatever. They kind of separate upper from lower. But baseball is an entirely rotational sport. And I see it a lot with the guys when we go play golf. Like a lot of like Marlon loves golf, and there's a lot of dudes that I golf with throughout the off season and stuff. And it is funny because these guys are like the cream of the crop, upper echelon athletes in the world. They run 4.4s. They got 40-inch verticals. They can long jump 12 feet. Like they can do all these crazy. They can stop on a dime, change direction, and then you get them, and all they have to do is stand still and rotate, and it's like they don't know what they're doing. So I
They
laugh
chop
'cause,
wood.
yeah, that's what that's what I'm good at. I'm good at the rotational side of it. I've done baseball forever, and I've been playing golf for a long time now, and it is just funny. It's really unique to see the differences between baseball and football.
Did you guys watch Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Look,
Go ahead,
I'll
Nick.
say this. If you went in expecting a really good plotted movie like Inception or something, you're in the wrong business. Okay, that was just not what the movie was going to be from the start. I knew that going in. I went in for the cameos, the little, the backhanded jokes like Scheffler in jail, like that.
There was some good laugh out loud moments in that movie.
It was hilarious. I thought, for what it was, it's never going to be Happy Gilmore 1, but it was. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching it.
If you could get that surgery, would you do it?
No, God, I hit the ball far enough. I don't need that. That looked weird, man. The way they were
the
turning
CGI.
it looked gross. Yeah, the CGI. It was kind of.
What's funny is I'm the biggest Adam Sandler fan you're going to find. I think I can quote Billy Madison from start to finish. And the only time I really got starstruck doing this, I was staring at Billy Madison staring at Adam Sandler like the little girl in Billy Madison, and he was waving hi to me at the Super Bowl at Radio Row, and I just got so embarrassed about it. But I get everything you're saying, and I agree with it. If you don't go into it expecting something special, but there's something nostalgic about Happy Gilmore and seeing some of the things that they were doing in it. I just felt they tried too hard because everybody's kid had to be in it. I'm not talking about his own family. Here's Chubbs Peterson's kid. Here's the Giants kid. Here's, it didn't matter who it was. And there was just some really, really bad acting. I was surprised they didn't do a second take on some of those. I'm going, what is this?
Yeah.
But you're right. The best parts of it to me were the golfers. I thought some of them were really good, especially Scheffler.
Yeah, they were hilarious. And I watched recently, Adam Sandler did a YouTube golf video with Bryson, and it was filmed before the movie was officially released, but they didn't release the video till the other day after the movie was already out. And he had said that when they originally started filming the movie, I can't think of the actor's name who plays Chubb, but
Carl Weathers.
He was in it, and then he passed away. And so then they had to obviously backtrack, and then he just said they decided to replace his character and just kind of get paid homage to him because, he was such an iconic character in the first one. And I mean, you're right. With the Giants kid, and then Will Zalatoris being the caddy from the first one, and
that was great
funny.
casting, though.
It was. I thought it was
I looked it
got a
up to make
chuckle
sure
out
it
of it.
wasn't true.
Yeah, I got a chuckle out of it, and it was funny how they did. I mean, but again, you know, you're not going in to be. It's not going to be interstellar. You know, it's not going to be something that knocks your socks off. But
there's
it
some
was
people
funny.
that complained about his family being in it, but there's something really cool. And what I love about Adam Sandler, even with the fact that he likes to dress like a complete slob, and I'm envious that he can wear that stuff to those events. But he puts his family in it, and some people get upset over it. But that's setting them up with future money. That's setting them up with these, because this movie right now is the most watched Netflix movie over when it's open or it's released over the week in its history. So yeah, like he's setting his family and his friends up, bringing the same guys back all the time and putting them in movies. I don't know. I think there's something admirable about that.
And his daughter, I thought she did a good job in it.
Yeah,
Both his daughters were in it.
Both his daughters and his wife. So his wife was the dancing instructor, and then his daughter was his daughter, and then the girl that he was with the
In
AA
rehab
class, with the rehab stuff, that was the cop. She was also his daughter.
Yeah.
And then you saw Rob Schneider and all of his buddies. The only one that wasn't in there was David Spade and Chris Rock.
Yeah.
But
Buscemi makes me laugh and every time
Yeah.
he's in it. Like I had one of those moments in Big Daddy. Have you ever had a moment in a movie theater where you're the only person laughing and you swear it's the funniest thing you've ever seen? Like I watched Big Daddy and he pulls out fresh cantaloupe in the courtroom and starts eating it. And I'm like, where'd this homeless guy get fresh? And I start laughing so loud and everybody's turning around looking at me and I couldn't stop. I just thought it was great.
Yeah.
He always has these weird one-liners where I don't know. He's one of those guys that's just always going to make me laugh.
yeah, it was. I had that same exact experience at Anchorman 2 in the movie theater. I was laughing hysterically. And I was with my friends. This was, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. And everyone's just looking at me like, bro, you got to be quiet. I'm like, are you guys not getting the jokes? Like, this is hilarious. I don't know. Why would I not laugh?
Love that.
If a comedy movie has like a Rotten Tomato score of like 30, I'm going to love it. Usually I freaking love the movie if it's got a shit score.
If it has any gross humor, it's always going to get dinged for that in critics because they feel like it's too lowbrow. Like when Something About Mary came out and they were doing the stuff with the dog, they felt like, oh, come on, that's ridiculous. And I mean, if we all go back and watch it, you can see what pure genius that movie is.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we're
Rotten
due for
Tomatoes
another
is-
Farley Brothers movie. It's
we got
overdue.
Yeah.
Well, the last one they did was the John Cena one that went like straight to Prime, where Rickety Snickety or something like that.
Was that their movie?
Ricky Stanicky, yeah,
Ricky
that's what it was.
Stanicky? That
Stanicky,
was
yeah.
a Farley Brothers movie?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one yet.
It's clever. I mean, it's worth seeing. It's
Yeah, you wouldn't be disappointed for watching. It was better than I thought it would be.
I need to give that a ride.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right. Well, Jeremy, we got a couple questions. We like to do something on here called the last call, right? Where we're going to ask you a series of like rapid fire questions that are sort of Maryland based because you grew up here in Baltimore. You're a Maryland guy. And just first thing that comes to the top of your head, all right?
okay.
What's your favorite snowball flavor?
I got two. It's egg custard, and I like ice cream flavor.
Have you ever yelled "Oh" during the national anthem at an out-of-town sporting event?
100%. We yelled it at Cooperstown, and the guy that ran the place came out and yelled at all of us.
All right. F, marry, kill. Thrasher's French fries, Dumpsters, or Fisher's popcorn?
I want to marry Thrasher's fries. Dumpsters would be the F, and I would kill Fisher's popcorn.
Otterbine's cookies or Burger's cookies?
Burger. I like them both, though, but burger.
Hell yeah, they're both amazing. What's the weirdest thing you put Old Bay on?
I don't know that I have any weird things that I put Old Bay on. I am one of those guys that dips his crab meat in vinegar. And I picked that up going camping with some people. But I like Old Bay on the typical things that most people do. Corn on the cob, throwing it on some popcorn if I'm just going to sit there and eat it. Things like that.
All right, you're going to go to the zoo, the aquarium, or the science center. You got to pick one.
I love them all, but I'd probably choose. Well, these days I'd probably choose the aquarium. Nothing like being indoors when it's hot as hell outside.
Very true.
Yes.
All right, if you could only talk for one sport the rest of your life, what's it going to be?
Oh hell. Honestly, I think it would be baseball because the Orioles are the only team I grew up with. Like, I think people that know my history know I was a Colts fan because I watched Peyton Manning at Tennessee when I was in high school, coming home from basketball tournaments. And I had the fortunate accident of saying, whoever drafts him, that's who I'm going to root for. He gets drafted by the Colts. I get into sports talk radio. Everybody hates the Colts because of what happened back in 1983. So, yeah, that roundabout way, that kind of hurts. But I would say baseball because my love for the Orioles, I still want to see a World Series. When I was 4, I don't count that. I don't remember any of that.
What's the creepiest place you ever stayed at in Ocean City?
Oh, man, I stayed in some just absolute trash places. I was just telling the story because I couldn't even begin to tell you the names of them. I like where the AC went out in the middle of the night, where we were, I think us and another group were stealing alcohol from each other, paying a homeless man to buy us alcohol, like all the weird stuff that could go on. And it's funny that you're asking this because I don't go down to Ocean City much, but my in-laws just moved to Delaware and down there and like really close by. And so we go down and visit them now. So we get to hit all those places. And I was driving by the liquor store and I'm like, yeah, we did pay a homeless guy to buy us liquor. So.
As you get older, you tend to navigate further north and you start getting into Delaware instead of Ocean City.
Yeah. I mean, the boardwalk's crazy sometimes, man. You don't know what you're going to get out there. But I love the people watch.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same way, dude. You get a room. My thing was the Safari Inn. The big gorilla. Senior week, man. Did you go to Senior week?
Yeah, I did. My senior week kind of, I don't want to say it sucked. So I went with my buddy and his dad was one of the owners of Pizza John's in Essex. And there were 3 brothers that owned it. So we went down and they booked the place we were staying at. And we had all these Pizza John's pizzas, the pre-made ones to take down there. So I didn't want Pizza John's pizza anymore when I came back from that trip. But we ended up staying at like the Hilton on like the 10th floor. And it's like, that's not where you want to be. You want to be out there where you're just mingling with strangers and you're running into people and, you're on the bus and then you run into somebody and, hey, now I'm hanging out with you and we're going to this party. But nobody come to the 10th floor at the Hilton, man. It was fun, but it wasn't what it could have been.
All right. Finally, if you could have any sports legend, living or dead, on your show, who would it be?
Mine would be Charles Barkley, which is kind of weird that I haven't had him. He's my favorite athlete of all time. And there's something about him accepting his goofiness, being able to laugh at himself, but also giving his opinion and not caring that you don't like his opinion, So he's my favorite. And one to leave you with, the best interview I ever had is I randomly picked up this phone book, looked at this number, the Ravens were playing the Browns, call the number, Jim Brown picks up, and I said, hey, you mind coming on my show tonight? And he's like, sure. He came on for a half an hour. We talked everything from movies to the running backs he likes in the league now to when he was playing. It was one of the coolest experiences I've had in radio.
So you guys literally have like a phone book of cool people to call?
So no, there's like some people, like over years, you'll build up a Rolodex of phone numbers, and there are some people that keep them all together. And the Rolodex that I had was actually Anita Marks. And I was just looking for somebody in the group with Browns, and I'm like, I got to get somebody on the show tonight. And I'm like, piss on it. I'll give Jim Brown a call. What if he doesn't pick up? It ain't no big deal. And then all of a sudden he says hello, and I went, who? Hi, sir? Who is this? And I mean, just couldn't have been cooler.
Nick, who's one of the coolest people you've talked to, dude? Who's in your Rolodex?
Oh gosh. Let's see. Probably the most like famous person I know or talked to is Mookie Betts.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, we got drafted together out of high school, and
That's cool.
were roommates through 5 spring trainings, and got to know each other really well, and still keep in contact. I saw him last summer when they played up in New York, and every time he comes into town to play the O's, I catch up with him. And then Lamar's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lamar's pretty famous.
Yeah.
I don't talk to him that much, but I talk to him enough.
It is funny because you do get to rub elbows with some people. And like in the radio world, on the sports side, all the music people always want to come over and meet the athletes. And when they were bringing in like comedians or musicians, it's like we wanted to go over and meet them. But my favorite story is the time that I projectile vomited in front of Rob Gronkowski in New Orleans. We got down there and we tied one on pretty good, and I had a second supper at about 1:30 in the morning. It was some Cajun pasta, and apparently Cajun pasta doesn't like to be mixed with shots of Jameson, hand grenades, and hurricanes, and all those things that you love to try as soon as you get to New Orleans. And my stomach started turning, and I threw up all night. But I had to work at Radio Row, so I had to get down there. I get down there, they're making crawfish etouffee, and as soon as I smell it, I had just pounded one of these new red Gatorades. It turned from a walk to a brisk walk to a sprint. And as I'm running in, I projectile vomit into the sink, and coming out of the bathroom stall is Rob Gronkowski. And if you're going to throw up in front of somebody, the guy that goes, "Whoa, dude, that's awesome," that's probably the guy you want to throw up in front of.
I was going to say, crazy, I bet he loved that. I bet he loved that.
Just watching me. Thanks, Rob. Just trying to wipe my face off.
I don't think hand grenades like to be mixed with anything. Those are,
they're dangerous.
I was with the Saints for a little while, my rookie year in the training camp and stuff, and we went down there a few times, and I played in the Sugar Bowl. You got to be careful. Those hurricanes and those hand grenades, man.
We also got that.
Stay away from those.
You get the girls in the bikinis that ask you if you want a shot, and it's like 2 for $5, and then they pour 4 down your throat and go, "That's $10." And you're like, "What the hell was that?" You
don't even know what you're drinking in there. You have no idea what that is. That's definitely not a mixer. You take those and you go home.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what you guys are going through down there. I mean, that's insane. I think my coolest thing, I was at a bowling tournament because I was a bowler, and Jerome Bettis was a bowler. And I was taking a piss, and I look over, and Jerome Bettis is taking a piss next to me. I'm like, "Hey, you're Jerome Bettis." And he's like, "Yes, I am."
You didn't try to shake his hand, did you?
No, I didn't.
You can't do that. Can't reach over the stall and say, "Hey, how you doing?"
I was through the bus. That's at the height of the Steelers rivalry back in the day, and with Ray and everything. Well, I actually met some really cool people because I used to run Ray Lewis's celebrity bowling tournaments back in the day. And that was really cool getting to see some of the people he had come through.
I bet a lot of people came through those.
Yeah. You just get to meet so many different people. It's awesome.
That is the best part about the job. I mean, mine, same way. You just run into people, you're in places you shouldn't be in, and it's just it's so cool.
When you guys play the Chiefs, you should take a thing of honey and throw it to Travis when you see him.
I don't think that's on the agenda. We have a lot of things on the agenda for Kansas City.
Dude,
I don't think honey is one of them.
Oh, let me get your take on this, because you remember when Travis was notorious in the playoff game where he was messing with Justin, dude. Give us a behind the scenes on that one, brother.
I was hurt that year, and
that's when you were hurt.
Yeah, that was the first game I was allowed to be on the sideline for the game. And so I'm in the the locker room, pregame. They're all warming up, and someone comes running back in "Bro, you're not gonna believe this. Tuck is out there. Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes is just throwing his shit everywhere." So I'm like, all right, we're going, I guess. I was limping around, I was only at that point. I was probably only 5 months out of Achilles surgery, so I wasn't moving that well. I hadn't started running yet, and I was like, strap it up. All the guys that were hurt were like, all right, let's go. We go out there, there's a whole bunch of nothing going on out there. It was, I've said my piece on this before, but I feel like it was slightly disrespectful. Tuck was a creature of habit. He always did the same thing every week, never changed. Always warmed up in the same spots, especially at our home stadium. And they knew that. It wasn't the first time they'd seen him there. And it wasn't the first time they played against him. And I just think they were doing it to, I guess maybe they felt like underdogs and they needed to get a little juices flowing early. And I mean, what better guy to pick on than a kicker, Because the whole team's in the locker room. It's just the kicker out there by himself. I feel like it was a little childish, but
yeah. Well, didn't Pat say the same thing? He was just that's my routine too. Both guys were yeah, that's my routine.
I mean, yeah, but the difference is that's our time to use the field. We take priority because we don't have another time to warm up. That's our only chance. So we are the ones that get priority, and they're the ones that are supposed to move around. And it happens every game. That's the first experience I've ever had with that. And, there's plenty of times where, we were working and Aaron Rodgers was out there, or Phillip Rivers, or, any of these guys, any of these quarterbacks out there. And they're all, most of the time, I mean, every time I've had but one, they've been super nice. Like, hey, can we get one real quick? Just going to get one right here. Kick it, move on, get out of the way. And everybody's been, even like when we go against Pittsburgh, the only time it gets dicey is like at the very end of our warm-up session, when like some teams come out early, that everybody does the warm-up stuff differently. But for the most part, I mean, it's a gentleman's game. Everybody's like, all right, we're about to get off the field, or this is our only chance to use the field, because their kickers were doing the same thing. Nobody wants to talk about Harrison Butker was down there on the other side of the field right next to Lamar. And, we're not throwing anybody's helmet. So.
We're talking about it right now, man.
I mean, at this point, it's, bygones be bygones. It is what it is. We have plenty of reasons to not like the Saints, and that is, that's at the bottom of the list.
Well, good luck this season, dude. You guys are going to be in shape with all the freaking run around you're doing in this heat. So,
we're going to be practicing in the heat to win games in the cold. So
I mean, I saw you guys out there practicing. You guys got to be dropping at least 4 or 5 pounds of water weight out there during one of those practices. Seriously.
Yeah, I dropped 6 pounds today. Guys, I mean, the guys that actually practice, like the tight ends, the wide receivers are the ones I feel sorry for. Because those dudes, man, they run all day long, all practice. That's all they do is run. And, I mean, none of those guys have a ton of weight to lose anyway, so it's not like a big deal. But the tight ends, the outside linebackers, those are the guys that lose. And the offensive line, I mean, they'll lose 10, 15 pounds at practice. It's rough, man. It's hot. This time of year it's a grind, because you're getting back into football. And on top of that, like today, on-field temperature was over 100 degrees, and we're in full pads, and you're just like, all right, well. It's a great time to build character and prepare your mind for when it gets hard. Because the cold is equally as hard, it's just a different feeling. You don't lose the body weight, but the mental strain is there. So it's a perfect time for us to practice when we're tired.
Nice. Well, good luck, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right, Jeremy, what do you want to let our viewers know about, dude?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm doing the Big Bad Morning Show Monday to Friday from 6 to 10. I run my gambling website, concretelocks.com. I'm even doing a daily podcast for a company called Pick Dog. So for me, I have three gambling jobs and one radio job. So I work 365 days a year, no days off. So, yeah, it's a grind, but I love doing it and talking about it. And it comes with the highs and lows, too, because you can't always win them all. But when you're losing, everybody lets you know you're losing.
And like I've heard you say before, it's like, yeah, you have that one. You could have 9 winners, and you get that one loser, and that's the one that's going to stick with you. That's the one you're going to feel bad about.
Always. It's my old program director had to say to me, he's like, dude, you went 4-1 and you spent the entire segment talking about your one loss. I was like, yeah, but I could have been 5-0 if that hadn't happened. But it's kind of retraining your brain there to not feel so negative when you have a good night.
Actually, Nick, can I ask you one more question, dude? Because obviously betting on sport, or at least on football, big no-no for you, right? Like that's completely off limits. I'm sure you probably have a whole course on what you can do and can't do. But what about other sports? I mean, since it's like sports betting is legal, because you have maybe influence or relationships with other athletes, is it totally like you can't do any sports betting whatsoever?
During the season, you're not allowed to gamble at all if you're with the team. So like when we travel, you can't do online gambling, sports gambling, can't go to the casino like if we're playing in Vegas or something like that. I personally don't gamble. Only thing I'll do is play blackjack. But I mean, there's so many rules that you're just safer not to bet.
Right.
If you're going to gamble, like gambling in the off season, if you're going to gamble on baseball or something like that. But even
I think that's what happened to the Lions, right?
Yeah, somebody just got in trouble. He's on a baseball player just got in trouble too, but a football player got in trouble.
Yeah, Emmanuel Clase just got in trouble, and Luis Ortiz, his teammate, they both got in trouble, and they're obviously doing some stuff. There were 3 different NBA players, and I think with the Lions organization, you're not allowed to be on any of those gambling apps in the locker room or on the facilities. And I think that's how the Lions players got dinged.
Yeah, you can't be if you're doing anything at all with the team, whether you're in the locker room, on the plane, on the bus, in a hotel, if it's a team sanctioned event, there's no gambling whatsoever, anywhere. And then in the off season, you can, there's like limited, you could definitely gamble. Like we can do fantasy football, but the jackpot, the prize money can't be more than $250. So like if you're in a 10-man league and it's $50 a head, like you can't win or you can't be in that league because you could technically get in trouble for that. So I tend to, the easiest way to do it is just to steer away from the gambling, especially nowadays, like with how much accessibility there is and how much sports, with the sports gambling being legal, people are betting on everything. So, you're just safer if you just don't gamble. If you like to go to the casino or whatever in the off season, like do it on your own time. That's fine, but you just got to be careful because it's easy way to lose money. Easy way to lose money.
Yeah, I believe it. I was just curious about that because, like you said, you had a relationship with Mookie Betts. So if you have relationships with like professional athletes in other sports, I can see
I would
where
never
that's
take. I personally would never, because I know how sensitive the information is. Like, if I'm talking to a baseball player or something, I wouldn't even consider it because I would expect them to do the same thing for me. Not that I would ever.
If you want to get in that long snapper Hall of Fame, dude, you steer clear.
One day.
I need to miss a field goal and he hikes it over his head.
No, absolutely not. I've heard stories about this. I've heard guys come in, like when I was in college, guys would come and talk to the team. And Chris, I think his name was Chris Herron. He played with the Celtics. He talked about that.
He's a drug addict.
Yeah. And I just got too much pride, man. Like, if I'm going to if I would ever consider it, which I wouldn't, NFL, I would never consider doing that ever. But if I would, I'd take the Pete Rose track and bet I'm going to win. Like, I bet on myself, Like, that to me is like, that's what I do every time I go out there. I'm betting on myself to be the best I can be. So, I would never bet against myself. I have too much pride to, and, how much money am I going to win by betting on a missed field goal at the end of the game? It's not going to be more than my salary, I'll tell you that. So I stay far, far away from any of that stuff. And it's tough. My dad he loves it. My dad has a craps table in the house. Every time they come up, they go to the casino. I'm like, stay away from me. I ain't even dropping you off there. You're going to do it all by yourself. You're driving down there. You could take an Uber, get a taxi, whatever. But I ain't going anywhere near that casino.
Nice. All right, man. We'll wrap it up. Jeremy, thanks again for coming on with us tonight. Nick, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for the great stories from training camp. And like I said, 105.7, dude, I've been a fan of yours for such a long time. You guys are absolutely killing it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, certainly. And I love your comedy, dude. I know sometimes it gets a little bit much and, you got to turn it off at times, but keep rocking it.
Doing the dad jokes at the end of the show, that's kind of taken off and people love that stuff, but also trying to find the weirdest, creepiest stories I can do in my world of stupid and seeing how uncomfortable I can make the people I'm sitting next to.
Exactly. Those are great. And then, when you put out all the videos that you put out today.
Oh, yeah. The Christian Wilkins videos that were making its way out there. Nick, I don't expect you to say anything.
No.
I don't, do you know what we're talking about?
I do know. I read the article.
There's a video of him grabbing a handful of Josh Allen's hog, and there's a video of him in the national championship basically grabbing somebody by the same thing, doing the split. There's some interesting stuff.
I was rolling today. I was dying.
That's it. That's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
I don't think he just kissed somebody on the forehead.
Nick, we'll talk offline about what you would do if that happened to you, brother.
Glad I'm not in that locker room.
All right. We're going to wrap this up. Jeremy, thanks so much again. Nick, thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Anytime.
We'll see you for another Beer With episode coming up soon. Cheers, everybody.